So for nearly 30 years now, Corpdata has been in the business of providing precision marketing data to companies who are trying to sell to other companies, business-to-business marketing. Equally, we've been very popular with marketing agencies who wanted to rely on our data to promote the campaigns they've been working on because they didn't want to get embarrassed by bad stuff. So for a whole host of reasons, we're very proud of what we've been doing there. Principally, our data is good because we maintain it by telephone research on an ongoing, never-ending basis, which means hopefully we're trying to pick up on all the errors and the changes that happen over time, and certainly as soon as we ever get to realise that there may be something wrong, we jump right all over that and try and fix it straight away. The data we produce is targetable by all sorts of things, all the things you might imagine in the B2B world, such as industrial sector, company size, whereabouts the company is located, and so on. But in fact, whilst that's great and it works, and we are immensely proud of all the work we've done on that, there are in fact one or two even more targetable files, depending on the sector you're in, which we produce, which we've been producing now, not for quite 30 years, but for certainly over 20 years. So depending on your sector, one or more of these might be interesting. We also have a specific focus file called IT focus, telecoms focus, fleet focus, call center focus, and more recently, online focus. These specifically concentrate on all sorts of things that are in place within the company, addressing those different facets of their operation. So to do with perhaps what types of computers there are and so on. Today, I wanted to try and introduce to you IT focus. So IT Focus was our first focus file from 20 odd years ago, maintained of course many times since then. There's all sorts of information there about the scale or size of the operation with regard to IT usage, ranging from things like desktop PCs, as in how many of them they have, portable PCs, numbers of servers, indeed how many IT staff. Historically, we also used to ask questions about certain brands and products that were in use, such as which operating systems and things like that. We've actually, over recent time, decided we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to expose the data subjects to the risk that they could be hacked more easily if that sort of slightly more sensitive information was available publicly. So we've actually erred away from doing that now, but we do still have some information about the way they work, albeit not at a product level. So, for instance, we know whether they insource or outsource in a number of areas such as web development. Do they get somebody else to do that for them, or do they do it with their own staff? Software development generally and programming, database services, and hardware maintenance are also areas where we know whether or not they are handling those aspects themselves or whether they have outsourced it to other people. Finally, in this instance, we're talking about IT, so in a modern sense, we're also asking them whether they use cloud-type services or whether they're very much handling it all at their own location, whether they sell online or whether their web presence is very much more of a brochure site, and indeed which ISP they connect to the outside world with. Clearly there's a number of rather obvious usage cases that there could be there. For instance, somebody wanting to sell printers or screens or any number of other bits of IT components and periphery. But there's some less obvious ones too. We've had a fairly large success working with people who wanted to, for instance, sell orthopedic chairs to companies where they had a large number of desktop PCs, and indeed their approach wasn't to the IT manager, it was actually to the HR manager in that particular instance. So there's all sorts of slight tangents that one might be able to go down, armed with information about how an organisation has structured its IT and what infrastructure they have altogether. These files are slightly more expensive than our normal premium data file, but potentially for the right product, the right reasons for using it, it might be invaluable about getting optimum efficiency from that precious marketing and sales resources you're deploying. So with that particular product, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out how you might be able to target the correct company for your particular products and services. But don't forget, it's not just about targeting the right company, and we also know within almost all of those the relevant decision maker for the types of decisions you'll be interested in, be that the relevant manager for IT or for sales or whatever field it might be. And in conjunction with that, as part of getting those names for people, we've endeavoured to ask them their preferences with regard to how they'd like to be marketed, so that in the light of GDPR especially, you're able to work with people in a way that they don't find in any way offensive or oppressive, and they're unlikely to be complaining or having a problem with the fact that you've introduced yourself. So check it out, speak to one of our data consultants, have a little look at further details printed on our webpage, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.